Hey, I'm Ryan Cruz, and this is Get Your Mind Right. Let's talk about sexual transmutation. The first time I've heard of this word was in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Basically, well, let's first just talk about what transmutation means. Transmutation means to change one element to another. Basically, to change one state to another state. So in the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill mentions sexual transmutation. And he mentions it very shortly, where I had the audible, I had to listen to it like 4 times to catch it. And then I had to read it a couple times in my Kindle or whatever. So what is sexual transmutation? Basically, when you become sexually aroused, you use that energy to do something else. You don't release that energy in the sexually form. Now, usually as human beings, we're just used to always releasing that energy in a sexually form. So if you are used to doing that, sexual transmutation is going to be a little different for you. It's not going to be difficult, it's just going to be different. So basically, something I do myself, because when I first heard of it, I was like, what? I mean, what are you doing? Are you just stop thinking about what is arousing you? No. So let's just imagine you by yourself. And say, for instance, something on TV, somebody walked past with a certain type of scent that sexually aroused you. So what will you do in that situation? You feel the sexual arousal in your body. Right when you acknowledge it and notice that arousal, that energy, you harness it. So the first, what I would say harness is just basically acknowledging that you feel aroused. After you acknowledge that, you either get up and begin to work on whatever it is that you desire. So maybe it was getting some business handled. Maybe it was going for a run, exercising. Maybe it was making sure you paid all your bills on time. Maybe it was you making sure you cleaned up your house. Whatever you do, you're just supposed to use that energy to do something else that you've been wanting to get done. For myself, I don't always get up and do something. A lot of times with myself, if I become sexually aroused or if I feel that energy and I don't want to release it with intercourse, I don't want to release it, self pleasuring myself. I don't want to release that energy in any type of sexual way. So what I would do instead is visualize. One of my biggest goals is to be able to sell my skincare company to a larger company, and then they do whatever they please, right? Not so much of like tarnish the name yet, but have my skincare company under a larger company like L'Oreal or something of that type of nature, right? And when I am sexually aroused, I will use that energy and I will begin to visualize me at a press conference talking about the sale of my company. I will picture a white long table and there's me and a few lawyers behind it, and then there's the company with their lawyers behind it, and then there's cameras in front of us, and they're talking to us, they're asking me how happy I feel about selling my company. Will I still be the face of the brand? Will I still have some type of stake in a company? And I picture the company that I sold it to just being really excited about purchasing the company, having big goals in mind for the company, where they see the company in the next 3-4 years. That is sincerely what I begin to visualize. I also begin to visualize and hear as well people telling me how much their skin has changed for the better, how they're seeing results. And I kid you not, usually when I start to do that, it probably could last between 5 to 10 minutes of me just being very engulfed in that visualization because of that energy that's inside of me, that arousal that's inside of me that I'm not using to release in a sexual manner, but I'm using to release in a manner where I am visualizing my goals being accomplished, right? And usually once I get done doing that, I get up and I just start working. I get up and my energy, I'm so alive, I'm so thriving, I'm so excited. Like I'm sincerely excited. Where you ever been excited where you're working, but then you're working out at the same time? Like you typing and you start doing leg lifts. You're like, wait, okay, I could work out 20 minutes from now. Why am I doing a workout as I'm typing? That's the excitement I get when I harness that energy, that when I harness that arousal energy and transmute it into something else, right? Because I'm transmuting it into not sexualness, but into my business productivity. I'm transmuting it to me physically working out. So how do you do this? Like I said, you acknowledge the arousal. You don't you don't see the arousal in you and get mad at yourself and say, "Oh, I'm bad. I shouldn't be doing this," or "I'm always a horn dog. What is wrong with me?" No, you recognize it. You peep it. You can sometimes even go scoop out of what even caused it, right? And after you do that, once you acknowledge it, you see what kind of caused it if you want to. Some people have full steps of breathing. I'm not about to do all that. I'm just going to start visualizing. As soon as I acknowledge and feel the sensation all up in my body, I just get to visualizing. I literally get to visualizing what I want. That's what I start doing. And when I start visualizing, because I already had that feeling, I don't have to do so much creating of that feeling because the feeling is already there. The feeling invoked me wanting to go visualize because I said, whoa, I got all this feeling, I got to put it to use. So fellas, I made this video especially for you because, there was a point in my life that I genuinely didn't understand men's sexual arousedness. I didn't understand when people would say, the wind may blow and his stuff goes up hard. I was just like, whatever. But the more I'm honest with myself, the more that I genuinely get to know people, the more that I observe, I say, okay, yeah, men have a whole different thing when it comes to sex. They have a whole different biology when it comes to it, and I need to respect that. So for men, if you are, you're wanting more out of life, right? You probably got stuff going good for you. Yet let's use this, let's harness this energy. Let's use this energy that I will say you get a lot more than I do. I mean, you get it so much more than I do. Just imagine the world that you could create for yourself if you're able to use and harness that energy in a whole different type of way. If you're able to catch yourself, acknowledge it, and then transmute that energy into your body, or transmute that energy into spending time with people that you wanted to spend time with. Transmuting that energy into writing poetry because you've been wanting to write some poetry since forever. Transmuting that energy into just relaxing. Visualizing yourself just sitting on the bed meditating. You can actually visualize yourself meditating to make yourself meditate even more. Fun fact, people who are able to visualize, which we all are, we really genuinely are, but some of us tend to learn about it in a different way, which then we end up thinking, well, maybe I'm not visualizing. Fun fact, if you're able to visualize, meaning those people who are able to picture their goals, visual their goals as clearly as possible. Like how I said, I visualize my company being sold, how I visualize the meetings that I'm having to sell it. The more you're able to visualize it, you have not one, but 1.5 more times likely to get that goal accomplished compared to someone who doesn't. So what does that mean basically? Now, say for instance, I have a goal that I want to sell my company, but I never sit back and think about it. I just say, oh, I want to sell my company, compared to the girl who has a goal who wants to sell her company. But as she drives to work, she pictures her company being sold. When she's sitting down her phone scrolling, she actually begins to picture her company being sold. That means you're focused into something. You know what I mean? You're focused into it. And the more you focus into it, the more that it comes into fruition. So men, take this lesson and use it. Use it for the better. When you are feeling yourself being aroused and you want to release it and you like, I don't want to call her. I don't even want to release myself. Let me get up and work. Let me get up and write. Hell, let me get up and cry by myself for a second because I got some emotions that I need to release. Seriously, you got to take care of yourself. There are plenty of people out there that will play the role and take care of you. And I'm sure you probably met women who listen to your problems, that they appear to be there for you. But the more you got to know her, she has a lot of shit going on herself that she needs to handle. And most likely, she's not handling it. That's why she's busy, stuck, trying to help you. And you don't like that deep down inside. You don't like women who are putting all their energy into you. That's a turn off. You're a grown man. You know how to handle your stuff. So use this wonderful information. If you want to, I don't know if I could say you can learn more about it in the book, Think and Grow Rich, because like I said, he doesn't go into a whole deep detail into it. Yet he talks about it in the sense of, if you are working and you have a female secretary, are you working and you have a lot of women around you, how to not succumb to those arousals and start flirting with your coworkers, but to use all that arousal to harness to build your business up even more, to just consistently build your business up. I'll give one more example before I go. When I did massage therapy and I worked at a spa, there was one guy there and everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted him. I didn't want him. I thought that body was right, but I didn't want him. Everybody wanted him and he just loved it. He didn't harness that energy. He fell and succumbed to it and then he got fired. So that's what it's about. It's about realizing something is energetically arousing you and you have choices to do. You can either release it yourself, you can find somebody to release it with in a sexual manner for both causes, or you can get up or lay down or stand or sit and begin to visualize the things that you desire to happen for you. Specifically, goals that you want to accomplish, like I said, business, moving up the ladder at work, getting your body right, maybe creating more connections, networking with people. But that is what you use that for. Just like how boxers and athletes don't have intercourse before they fight. They're channeling that energy. They want to go practice beforehand. So that's what you do with yourself. Use your sexual arousal energy to produce quality work. Have a good day, y'all.